Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Sania Gilani, your course instructor. In the previous lecture, we discussed about prose fiction. Right now, we are going to talk about prose non-fiction, one of the most significant yet often overlooked areas of literature. When we think of literature, our minds usually go straight to poems, novels, or plays, works of imagination. But literature also includes writings that deals with real life experiences, real struggles, real people, and it is expressed with thoughts, feelings, and artistry. It is personal truths of people. In a world like ours, complex, political, and full of rapid changes, nonfiction prose becomes an especially powerful form. It is the space where writers think aloud, ask questions, record history, and express personal truth. So, today we will be exploring this concept of nonfiction. What is nonfiction, especially in terms of prose? Its forms and features. We will also discuss the differences between fiction and nonfiction, and the literary merits or literary qualities of nonfiction, and how nonfiction is relevant to our current society, particularly South Asian and Pakistani context. So, for part one, we will be defining what is prose. We have already established a definition previously as well. So, starting very simple, what exactly is prose? Mario Claire, a very famous critic, defines prose as language organized in sentences and paragraphs rather than in lines and stanzas of verse. In other words, prose mirrors ordinary speech, yet it can rise to great beauty when shaped by a literary mind. Right now, I'm talking to you guys in prose form. Next, let's understand what is nonfiction. To understand nonfiction, what is the meaning of this term? The term means writing that is not imaginary. It deals with facts, ideas, and actual experiences. But factual does not mean boring. Critics often point out, even when literature deals with facts, it becomes art when imagination and expression unite with truth. So, nonfiction prose combines truth with artistry. It is not simply data or report, it's writing that interprets the real world with a literary voice. In Pakistan, for example, non-fiction prose takes many forms. Essays by Faiz Ahmed Faiz, political reflections by Iqbal Ahmed, memoirs by Tahmina Durrani, for example, My Feudal Lord, and the travel logs like Mustansir Hassan's Tarar Na Maloom Afraad. All these texts show how real and the reflective comes together in prose. Now, next is what is the main form of prose nonfiction. We are going to analyze different structures and different forms of nonfiction. As discussed previously, they appear both in Western and South Asian traditions. The very first and the most common prose form that you are familiar with is the essay. Essay is the most flexible and personal form of prose nonfiction. The term comes from the French word essayer, meaning to try. We have all written a few essays in our lifetime. This word was first used in the 16th century to explore the thoughts and life experiences of writers and the human behavior. Hudson defines essay as the reflection of writer's mind, an intimate conversation with the readers. It may be short, but it carries depth, individuality, and often wit. There are formal essays like Francis Bacon's Of Studies, which analyzes abstract ideas like studies, and there are also personal essays like Charles Lamb's Essays of Elia, which reveals the writer's own personality. So essays can be formal or informal. In Pakistan, the essay tradition appears in Urdu like writers like Patras Bukhari or Mushtaq Ahmed. They use humor and observation to reflect on everyday life. Their essays shows that non-fiction prose can be intelligent, entertaining, and human. Next category is biography as well as autobiography. A biography narrates another person's life, and autobiography is the story of that person by themselves. So, biography can be written by someone else, and autobiography is written by the person whose story we are following along. It is the most personal form of historical writing. It is based on facts but shaped by interpretation and moral insight. Its examples in literature include Boswell's Life by Samuel Johnson and Rousseau's Confessions. In our context, we might think of Quaid-e-Azam's biographies and his speeches like the Jinnah of Pakistan, or autobiographies like Malala Yousafzai's I Am Malala or Benazir Bhutto's Daughter of the East as examples of biography. These texts are factual, yet they employ literary storytelling to present not just lives but values, courage, and identity. Next category is travel writing or travelogue. Travel writing, what does it describe? It describes journeys but often goes deeper into the human, cultural, and political meaning behind traveling. Writers often remind us that a true traveler writes not of distance but of discovery, of the mind's awakening to the world. Jonathan Swift, a very famous writer, and Charles Darwin, another big name, turned travel into reflection and observation about their surrounding and their experiences. In South Asian literature, Mustansir Hussain is again a big name here. Travelogues often mix humor, curiosity, and cultural commentary. These writings connect travelers' personal experiences with broader questions of identity, religion, and globalization, themes that Pakistani students and Pakistani people like us can easily relate to. Next category are of letters and diaries. They are self-explanatory. Letters and diaries are deeply intimate forms of prose non-fiction. They are the most spontaneous expression of your personality because they are direct account of someone's personal thoughts. Letters like John Keats reveal not just thoughts but emotional states of the writer. Similarly, in Pakistan, Faiz Ahmed Faiz letters from prison, later published as his collection of stories, show the blend of facts and poetry, politics and passion that define great non-fiction prose. These writings remind us that prose non-fiction can also be personal resistance, a way of keeping one's truth alive in difficult times. Next category is historical prose as well as philosophical prose. The final form is historical and philosophical. What is that? These are the prose that explore ideas, civilizations, and systems of thoughts. Edward Gibbon's The Decline and the Fall of the Roman Empire and Russell's History of Western Philosophy are key examples of historical texts. They show how knowledge and narratives can coexist, how history and reflection can be presented artistically. In the subcontinent, works like Sir Syed Ahmad Khan's essays on modern education or Allama Iqbal's lectures in the reconstruction of religious thoughts in Islam perform a very similar function, combining intellectual inquiry with literary eloquence. Eloquence is how fluent you are in speaking your ideas. These texts prove that prose nonfiction can shape not just literature but the direction of national thoughts. Now let's segue into our next point, that is the difference between prose fiction and simply prose nonfiction. Mario Clara, a writer we have talked about previously, as well says that fiction deals with imagined realities while non-fiction deals with actual experiences and life. However, both use similar tools: narrative, imagery, dialogue, and tone. The key difference lies in the writer's purpose. Fiction seeks to create an imaginative world of its own, while non-fiction seeks to interpret the real world in terms of human truth, human experiences, and human limitations. So, a novelist invents to reveal truth indirectly. A non-fiction writer observes, analyzes, and persuades you. For instance, George Orwell's 1984 is a fictional but political account, while his essay, Politics and the English Language, is non-fiction. Yet both explore the same concern: the corruption of truth through language. In Pakistan, Manto's short stories and Fahmida Riaz's essays often serve both social commentary, but Manto's uses fiction, while Fahmida Riaz uses non-fiction as a vehicle of expression. Both are essential voices of their time. So, what are the qualities of a good non-fiction? What am I trying to search for? There are three essential qualities of good prose non-fiction that helps in the long run. First is clarity. Ideas must be expressed logically and precisely. You should be able to understand it. Next, there should be sincerity. The writings should arise from genuine thoughts or experiences. It should be based on truth. Lastly, artistry. Prose should be elegant, balanced, and rhythmic. So, prose nonfiction should be clear, truthful, and artistic. The style in prose and the style in character, it is basically the expression of your personality. The best prose writers like Bacon, Emerson, or Fez, even Iqbal, all have distinct voices. Their sentences carry conviction, rhythm, and individuality. These are the important things when it comes to nonfiction. What is the relevance and importance of non-fiction in our time period today? In our own Pakistani and South Asian context on a broader scale, prose non-fiction shapes our public consciousness. It is presented in columns, essays, autobiographies, newspaper journals, political speeches, and literary criticism. Writers like Iqbal Ahmed, Sara Soleri, and Arundhati Roy used non-fiction prose to challenge political injustices, question identity, and reclaim cultural narratives. Their works shows that prose non-fiction is not passive at all. It's an active form of engagement with society. For you, as literature students, understanding prose non-fiction is essential because it trains you to think critically, teaches you the art of clear expression, and connects literary study to real-world ideas and social realities. To conclude today's lecture, what have we talked about today? Prose non-fiction. Let's sum it up. Prose non-fiction is the art of expressing truth through language. It includes essays, biographies, travelogues, letters, historical works, philosophical works, all united by a desire to understand the real world. Prose is the most adaptable literary form, capable of expressing every shade of human knowledge, and prose non-fiction is really easy to grasp. Even in literature, when faced with facts, there still must be a touch of spirit. There should be a literary merit to it. It should still be written with the pulse of life in it. That's the purpose of literary prose. Prose non-fiction continues to serve as both mirror and lamp, reflecting society and illuminating thought. It reminds us that truth expressed beautifully is itself a form of art. That is all for today's lecture. If you have any questions, you can ask in the discussion room. And that is all for today. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.